Good morning, everyone. Things are moving a little slow here this morning at Namaste Village. Here they come.
It's cold, so people are, I think...
This is cold to you?
Of course!
Gosh, you could
I
never...
mean, this is really cold.
You could never live in Minnesota. If you think this is cold. But for Mexico, it's a little chilly, it's light jacket weather. So welcome again, Reverend Johannes. It's good to have you. I see Vicky is out there, and Teddy, I'm sure, is there as well, and Alice, and Linda, and Marissa. Yep, she's there. And I see Sue. It's kind of, you remember, was it Romper Room? When I see Billy, I see Mikey. We are always seen. We are seen as we really are. Now, if we could only choose to see in the same way, to see one another and to see ourselves as God sees us, that'd be pretty good. That would be a pretty good way of being. Seen and being. I have no idea where I'm going with this, but I'm just kind of rolling with it and see where it takes us. Well, one thing we know is that yesterday we started the Unity Day of Prayer with some beautiful prayers. Thank you, Johannes, for bringing those to us. And the Unity Day of Prayer goes until 7 p.m. tonight. Is that correct?
Yes.
Central Time. So today is a wonderful day just to keep focusing our hearts on that connection with the divine, the connection with God that we all share. And to remember that we are here but to see as God sees, to love as God loves, and then to know what God knows. I've always felt that was like a formula, to see as God sees, to love as God loves, to know as God knows. And the question then becomes, well, what does God know? And the answer is...
Who knows?
It means that God sees only love. God sees only one. God sees the expression of divinity everywhere and in everyone. And that really is what prayer is being aligned with that holy vision and aligning ourselves with the pulse of the divine. You want to say anything about that? What prayer is for you?
Yes, I'm thinking. It's communion, it's connection. For me, it's like so difficult to put in words because it's an experience. When I go into prayer, which is mostly silence, I just forget everything. It's like everything disappears, and it's just that connection with that we call the divine or we call love. But it's an experience. Prayer is an experience. And you experience oneness. You experience love. You experience your life in a total different way. That's what prayer is to me. The challenge for me is to continue in that experience during the whole day. That is, I'm alert and I know, but then I start talking or doing my stuff or making phone calls, and I'm like, wouldn't it be nice to stay in that experience that I have for moments? That's my challenge. I challenge myself because that for me is what prayer is.
I like the word communion. You use that word in the beginning.
It's hard to explain because it's a communion, it's an experience, it's a knowing. That's what I say, who knows? I mean, it's a knowing, it's a something, but I cannot say what it is.
Because you're a mystic.
Yeah, well, St. Paul called it the peace that surpasses understanding. You can't understand it with your mind, no matter how hard we try to. You can write books and you can give lectures on the experience all you want, but if it's just an intellectual idea, it means nothing. It doesn't do anything. It doesn't create the momentum that we need to break through the ego's force of gravity, which it always keeps us bound here. But there is a passion within the experience that is like the fuel. The passion is the fuel that we ignite, and then that lifts us like a rocket ship that's being lifted off the earth. And it takes so much fuel. But when you break free from the atmosphere or the gravitational pull of the ego, suddenly you soar above it all, and it doesn't take much energy at all because now you're free. So the communion brings freedom.
Yes.
You know, I was just looking here, I found this sheet that we printed up at the very beginning when we first took over Namaste. And it was a little thing that we would say at the beginning of every session, and I was just reading it. It says, sessions at Namaste Village are meant to ignite the experience of our divine nature. The experience of our divine nature through a non-dual exploration of our true identity, which is one with God and all creation, this and every moment. That non-dual exploration of our true identity. That's why we're here. It's the only reason we're here. If we just want to keep it simple, and I do, because the ego always wants to make it more complex. But if we just keep it simple and just realize that's why we're here, that non-dual exploration of our true identity, and then to share that, to give it away. So I thought we might begin this session with the prayer that people really seemed to like yesterday, which is the Lord's Prayer in Spanish that I wrote, which you sing so beautifully. You know, and this was a prayer that Jesus gave to his friends when they said, "Teach us to pray." And this is how he did it. So you want to do that at the beginning here? Okay. So, here we go.
Dios.
So Johannes and I yesterday, just last evening, we were, and Jack as well, we were talking about prayer and what is necessary to have a true prayer experience. Because we seem to be praying to what? To God? What is that? What is a God? We just say these words sometimes, but we don't really question, what is that? And it reminded me of when Jesus asked his friends, who do they say that I am? And then they gave him all sorts of, well, they say you're this, you're that, maybe you're this person, come back. Mm-hmm. But then he says, who do you say that I am? And I think that's the beginning of the prayer experience. Who do we say God is? And once we understand that, we can enter into communion, like we were saying before. And I guess the other question is, are we praying to something that's outside of us or inside of us? Because if we're always praying to something that's outside of us, it's like we're never going to get to it. It's like the analogy that I used yesterday when I was sitting a couple of nights ago in my room and I looked at the reflection in the sliding glass door and I could see the candle that was right next to me in the reflection. But if I forget that that's just a reflection, I could reach for it and try and grab it or touch it as much as I want, but I'm never going to. The same thing with God, isn't it? That I'm always seeking God out there rather than where God is within. Prayer, true communion, as you were saying before, is never going to happen. What do you think about that?
Actually, last night when you left to rest, I started meditating about, and I started thinking of Jesus, and I say, okay, who do I think you are? I started meditating on that. My mind went blank. It's like, I don't know, again, because I close my eyes, I go inside, and I'm looking for that communion. And I was like, I don't know who you are. I mean, I have experienced you. But it's like, at that moment, I have to confess, I said, it doesn't matter. What I experienced when I had that communion with Christ is truly oneness, and it's power, and it's beyond words. It's big, it's vast, it's beyond the human mind.
Mm-hmm.
It's an experience, it's a communion. And I would ask again, who do I think you are? And I start laughing because I felt so much joy, but I don't know how to explain it.
Mm.
It's not difficult, it's easy, but it's there. But I have no words.
Right.
To express it. It's no, it's so difficult to get there. It's the most, natural thing, like in the Course in Miracles we read, because this is who we are. It's the experience of love, but how do you explain the experience of love? You see, so that
you can't.
No
one who is deeply in love with someone can sit and well, this is why I'm in love, and give a
Yes.
list of the reasons, because it's an experience, but you know when you're there.
And it's not difficult. It's important that you say it's simple. It is, because it's there. It's all around us. It's in us, outside. It's us. But how to explain it?
Yeah. I was just thinking that that there is a question that we also ask before we to the Christ answer, before we can answer the question, who do I say you are, to the Christ, I have to ask the question, who do I say I am? Who do I say I am? Am I this limited, vulnerable, egoic, separate entity, identity that is here today, gone tomorrow, prone to sickness, pain, and death? That's who I've claimed. That's what we all claim to be, but
An experience.
now we come to the point where we like, no, that's not who I am. There is a pulse within me, a presence within me that is beyond all of those ideas. And once I can experience who I am, or the I am presence within me, then I can see the Christ clearly. And I don't see it in a person, or only a person who existed 2,000 years ago, but everyone.
Everyone.
When I can answer the question, who I am, who am I can see the same thing in everyone.
Yes.
Let's
It's
see what
beautiful.
Vicky has to say about that.
I-
You want to say
okay.
something else?
I can say it after Vicky shares with us, but I found a prayer that Myrtle Fillmore wrote when she was actually having that experience of oneness and communion with
You wanna
God.
share
And
now?
I let me find it. But Vicky can share with us in the meantime. Oh, that's my mic. Let me see. And I totally believe that she was having this experience that we are talking about, that the I am, the presence that we all are, but we have forgotten, but we are remembering. She says, I do not believe in evil, I believe in good. I do not believe in sin, I believe in truth. I do not believe in want, I believe in abundance. I do not believe in death, I believe in life. I do not believe in ignorance, I believe in intelligence. There are no discords in my being. I love that. There are no discords in my being. My being is peace. My being is peace. My faith, understanding, and love are becoming one. My faith, understanding, and love are becoming one. I believe she was experiencing, she was having a communion with her true self, good, truth, abundance, life, intelligence, peace. So she was realizing that love that she was. So I wanted to share this with everybody.
Beautiful. Thank you. Okay, Vicky. We're so happy to have you guys back. I know you were gone yesterday, and I believe Teddy's birthday is coming up this weekend as well, isn't it?
Yes, it is. Monday is his birthday, but our son is coming for the weekend with his family to celebrate with everyone here on Sunday and Monday. But Sunday is Teddy's birthday, and a holy birthday it is. Been a real year of prayer and revelation. But what I love this topic because the bottom line, I'll start with that, is for me to get out of the way and to rest into that abiding presence or the light or whatever anyone calls it. But the signal, and you started with this, Jimmy, when Jesus said to Peter, who do you say that I am? And Peter said, I know you are the Christ. And when Jesus heard that from Peter, that's when he said, upon this rock, I can build my church. I will build my church. Because the rock was that Peter discovered who Jesus was and himself from going within. He didn't go outside. He didn't ask and look for scriptures from the Old Testament and everything. He knew from an interior experience, and that's what we're called to. And that's a place of knowing. When we know, and many of us know, we don't know how we know, but almost everyone knows that we are spirit, we are love, that we are somehow connected in one. That's enough. That's enough to know, to move from that knowing into from belief to vision is the critical journey into experience that we talk about every day here. And the experience that goes from faith and belief and that true knowing is when we allow ourselves to rest in that light, and then we are included and bound by it and see there's no opposite to it. And that's when we really do live by the experience of vision. Like Julian of Norwood says, all is well, everything is well. Because when we're in the experience, you know, Joel says, my Father and I are one. Jesus says it, thy will be done. When we know, when we are seeing that, then there's nothing else to see except to stay out of the way of that force working through us and working through time and doing nothing but witnessing it and looking at it and appreciating it and celebrating it and being so grateful. And that so the bottom line there again, prayer is really resting into that place of knowing that brings us into the experience of vision, of all is well. We live and are of this light, of this presence, and nothing temporal is necessary. In fact, any doing with the temporal gets in the way. That's why Jesus says in the Course, just stay out of the way. Get out of the way. Don't think it, don't work it, don't effort it, resist nothing. Let, the big word is let that presence, let it. You want to have the experience, you want to come into it, then let it open up in you by not interfering. So prayer is, again, here I am, Wood. I'm all yours, baby. What do you want? Here I am. And because we could not have come this far, all of us here in this room, in time, so many of us, without the knowing that spirit is what we are. And then the fulfillment of that is the experience of going into the field, that field of abiding light and presence that we can live and move from effortlessly by grace, the world of grace instead of the world of effort. And prayer is simply letting that be true and resting into it and welcoming it and allowing it and go from believing it to being it. So that's my 2 cents, Brother James.
Thank you, Becky, as always.
Johannes, thank you.
You know, it's funny that you brought up Julian of Norwich because, and you mentioned her most famous quote, which is, all will be well and all will be well and all manner of things will be well. Because I was just thinking about her because on the board in the back, we have the daily word from Unity, which says, all is well with my soul. And so I was thinking, wow, that's very similar to what Julian said. But that is the reality. That is the experience. All is well. Not all will be well, but all is well. And it's like when we pray the Lord's Prayer, the way I usually do it, which I shared yesterday, is your kingdom has come. Your will is being done. If I could just get out of the way to see that, and instead of focusing on all the ways that seem like it's not being done, all the trauma and drama, and look through that, like looking through a facade, to where God's will is being done. And then we realize all things are very, very well. And now I come into deep resonance with that experience. And once again, you can't talk about it, but you can point to it. You know, it's like, imagine you're standing with the great teacher, the Christ, however you want to imagine it, at the edge of a lake. And you know that the Christ can look beneath the water and see the fish that is swimming just beneath the surface. And you're looking and you can't see it. Now, the Christ can say, just right there. Okay, follow my finger and look there to that spot, and then let your eyes soften. So the Christ can point to the spot, but you will see the fish only when you allow your vision to soften. And then suddenly, you have the experience. But the Christ or she can't give it to you, only point toward it. Now you have to soften. You have to soften the way you see everything, and then suddenly the fish appears, or suddenly the Christ appears. So, Teddy, what do you want to share about that?
Well, I was laughing because in the neighborhood I grew up in, which was very Italian American in New York City, we had an expression and we'd say, he thinks who he is. And it wasn't good, but it's sort of true. It's like he thinks who he is. And that's what we all do. We think who we are. Unfortunately, we were created to be something, and we cannot not be that because that's eternal. One of the reasons why we can't, and we can only point and join in the experience, is because of the dualistic nature of the minds that are in space-time, who hear one thing and immediately think of the opposite side, what it's not. So if you say, I am holy, there's an idea that you can be not holy. And that's not the truth of who we are. It's eternal, whole, perfect. And the important part is without opposite. There is no opposite. And that's where you begin to understand the idea that there's got to be whatever is going on here isn't true. So what is it? It's an illusion of truth, but not truth in and of itself. So it made me laugh. He thinks who he is. It's a funny thing. And just for a second here, tomorrow morning we're having a little event, and I posted the information about it, and it's about this. It's about going from, words and theory to experience, where none of our thoughts are true. Even the ones right-minded thinking thoughts are not true. They may be useful, but they all have to go for you to have the experience. So we're going to be talking a little bit about that tomorrow morning. But, the experience is everything. And once you have it, the most incredible part is all you want to do is share it. And there's no real way to share it unless somebody has the desire to have it be shared with him, because it's an experience of knowing you're not alone. And in the minute that you have the experience, you're one with everything, and you want everyone to know it. So it's an interesting idea. And it's also why people get together in communities the way you have, because it's something that everybody has the experience of and understands. And that goes beyond, the mundanity of life and is much more important. So when people come together under those circumstances, there's something different going on. Although from the outside, it may look like everything else. The mindset and the energy, which I like to talk about a lot, is different. The energy or the vibratory frequency of someone who knows who he is different from the vibratory energy of someone who doesn't know who they are. And that's the attractive part. It's also it's also distractive to people who don't want to know. And that's a little bit of a problem because they tend to go against you and try to prove you're wrong. But it's very attractive to those who want to know. And those who want to know and do know love to come together simply because we're not alone. And in that sense, we do try to make heaven here on earth, or live in a way that mimics the reality of who we are as God created us in the kingdom.
Thank you, Teddy. Thank you, Vicky. And this There's a lot of talking about a very simple thing, isn't it?
Yeah, I was going to say, we all know that words are symbols of symbols. Sometimes I just seriously don't want to say anything. I like to be in silence. And it's usually a sign for me that, okay, I think I should go soon for 1 week or 10 days into silence. When I start noticing myself just wanting to be quiet and not saying anything, I said, okay, maybe I should. But it's the way that we have to communicate with each other in love, because that's what we are doing here every morning. We are really trying to share our experience of love, and that is priceless.
Well, I have a song about that.
Okay, good.
That brings us back to how simple this is.
Yes.
And this basically is however you think of God or the divine, singing directly to you about the simplicity of salvation. So maybe take a deep breath and just allow this prayer to become your own. Stay simple, stay humble, and stay away with me. Oh, someone's gotten unmuted here. Looks like Wanda. You got yourself unmuted. There we go. Okay. Stay simple and stay humble and stay awake with me. I've heard you calling and I have answered with everything that you need, with everything that you need. Be like the birds of the air, the flowers in the field. For only then will your heart be healed, be healed. Just stay simple and stay humble and stay awake with me. Your heart is open and will remain if you but choose to see, if you but choose to see my face in everyone, in everything, everywhere you go. Then like the flower you will open, and you will know, you will know. Stay simple and stay humble and stay away with me. There is an answer so deep within you. This truth alone will set you free. This truth alone will set you free. Just stay simple and stay humble. think that's it. Stay simple, stay humble,
And
stay
clear.
awake. So thank you, everyone. Lovely to pray with all of you and to join with all of you. Vicky, Teddy, as always, thank you so much. And now, why don't we go ahead and we'll close with
Our
the prayer
prayer
of
for
protection.
protection.
Gosh, the screen is dark. I gotta light it up. Everybody go ahead and stand. There it is. Okay. Let me go ahead and put it on the screen now, and we will join together in this beautiful prayer. Here we go. The light of God surrounds us. I am the light of God. The love of God enfolds us. I am the love of God. The power of God protects us. I am the power of God. The presence of God watches over us. I am the presence of God. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well. And so it is.
Amen. All is well.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Lovely to see all of you. Have a beautiful day.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Namaste.
You all.
Love
Thank
you.
you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye bye for now.
Bye, everyone. Love you all.